Good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the floor. Today I want to talk about a subject dear to many fans of robot boxing games, the question of whether the developers behind Real Steel WRB are still adding new bots, especially bots that come from or are inspired by Ultimate Robot Fighting, URF, and what that means for the future of WRB. When WRB first came out, it promised a world where mechanical gladiators would punch, flip, and rip each other apart. Over the years, the roster of bots has grown. But lately, among longtime fans, there's been growing skepticism. Is WRB adding anything new, or just rehashing old content? And if they do add bots, are they truly new designs, or just recolors and copy-pastes? In the next several minutes I'll walk through what WRB is and its history of bots and updates, the relationship between WRB and URF bots, how bots from URF got imported or reused, evidence for and against continued expansion of bots, what the community, players, believe is happening now, and their arguments. What would need to happen for WRB to really bring new life, and whether that seems likely. My personal take and what to watch for going forward. Let's begin. What is Real Steel WRB, and how did it grow? Origins and core features. Real Steel WRB is a mobile game developed by Reliance Games, first released in 2013. From the start, the game offered a mix of bots from the film-inspired lineup, fan favorites like the robots Adam, Zeus, and Twin Cities, plus new contenders made for the game, bots like Touchdown, Hollow Jack, Blockbuster, BioWar among others. WRB offered multiple game modes: Championship, Time Attack, Free Sparring, plus a mystery draws system to unlock bots, a paint shop, upgrades, and other mechanics designed to make the robot boxing experience deeper than just movie bots only. Early on, that combination of nostalgia, movie bots, and novelty, fresh bots plus upgrades, made WRB a popular mobile game for fans of robot fighting. Expansion over time. Over time, WRB expanded its roster of robots. The featured robots list, as recorded in the game's wiki, includes bots categorized under various tiers: Underworld 1 and 2, WRBI, WRB2, and other categories. The expansion included not only new store bots or premium bots, but also some bots originally from URF, the idea being that some designs got carried over. The ability to upgrade robots, unlock special moves, use a paint shop, and so on, added layers of customization beyond just pick a movie bot or not. Thus WRB became, at least for a while, more than a simple movie tie-in, a living roster, evolving over time, blending movie nostalgia with new content and fan service bots. The URF connection, bots imported, not always original. One key point in discussions among fans is that many bots in WRB aren't original WRB creations, but come from another game by the same developer or are heavily inspired by it, Ultimate Robot Fighting, URF. According to the WRB wiki, certain robots that appear in WRB were originally from another game called Ultimate Robot Fighting, URF. That suggests that part of the WRB roster came by way of asset reuse or importing, not by designing brand new bots specifically for WRB. For some fans, this is fine; for others, it's part of the problem. In some cases, bots from URF got slight or drastic changes when they were ported over to WRB. So while WRB did expand, a good portion of its expansion seems to lean on existing content from URF rather than fresh, bespoke additions. Is WRB still getting new bots? What current evidence suggests? Official communications, mixed or silent. The publicly available official documentation for WRB, on the Reliance Games FAQ site, states that we are continuously working on improving the game, adding new features and characters, and we try to update the game regularly. On its face, that suggests the developers intend to keep supporting WRB with updates, potentially including new bots. Yet, beyond that statement, there is little visible evidence. The last clearly documented bot roster expansion listed in the main WRB wiki appears to cover the canonical set of 67 mean machines. Moreover, I found no credible recent public roadmap or official announcement indicating fresh bot pack coming soon. Searches of recent update logs or what's new pages show no major roster expanding patch. In short, official documentation leaves the door open, but there is no recent confirmation of significant additions to the bot roster. What the player community says: suspicion and disappointment. If you browse community forums, notably on Reddit, you'll find recurring grievances from longtime players that the devs have lost interest or are just re-releasing recolors. For example, because they stopped caring and most likely lost the Real Steel license. Real Steel WRB is simply WRB now. Clearly something happened internally. I play WRB, downloaded it again, but I noticed that you never have enough money to progress through the championships anymore. Another user commenting recently, 2025, laments that bots in WRB these days are mostly copy and paste with cosmetic changes. I'm just getting back, a lot has changed. Any idea why they are just copying bots, giving them a new name? This sentiment that WRB development is done except for cash grab recolors and bot reskins is fairly widespread among veteran players. Also important, someone observing the migration of bots from URF to WRB argued that the reason bots from URF show up in WRB is because the devs couldn't come up with new designs. Together, these posts suggest that much of what passes as new content lately is not genuine new robot design, but rather recycled models, recolors, cosmetic tweaks, or bots that originated outside WRB. Technical/design constraints, official rule set and what it implies. According to the official rules of WRB, the league only permits bipedal robots, no kicking, punch-only combat, and a height limit, less than 8 feet 6 inches. Meanwhile, some bots planned for WRB ended up cancelled or relegated because they violated those rules, e.g. a bot called Scaro had a proposed WRB debut cancelled because its hands, or arms, were considered illegal under WRB rules. This suggests that any new bot addition must respect the established constraints, which may limit creativity or push designers toward recycling existing assets rather than building completely new ones from scratch. In other words, even if devs wish to add new bots, the structural design rules might make it harder/less economical to introduce truly new bot types. What bringing in more URF-style bots means, and why it matters. When people ask, are they still bringing more URF bots into WRB, they usually mean bots that feel original in design, in abilities, not just recolored reskins. What's at stake is more than just numbers, it's about freshness, replayability, and respect for the concept. If WRB continues to rely heavily on bots imported from URF or reskin versions, several negative consequences arise. Staleness, longtime players see the same bot models over and over, leading to boredom. Credibility, the sense that WRB is no longer evolving but merely milking nostalgia/commercial value. Broken expectations, newer players drawn in by robot boxing may expect innovation, not recycled content. Community fragmentation, experienced players may quit if they feel the game isn't being developed meaningfully. On the other hand, if WRB added genuinely new bots, new designs, new abilities, that could renew interest in the game among old fans. Attract new players seeking variety. Reinforce WRB's identity as a living, evolving robot boxing universe, not just a static, nostalgia-driven relic. So the question isn't trivial, the difference between more URF-style bots as recolors versus as original creations matters a great deal. Where things seem to stand, my assessment. Putting together what the evidence and community says, and the lack of strong official communication, here is how I see the current state for WRB, as of 2025. 1. The developers appear not to be actively expanding the bot roster with truly new bots. There is no record of a big roster expanding patch or official announcement, and the community mostly speaks of reskins, recolors, or reused URF bots. 2. What updates WRB still sees tend to be small bug fixes, cosmetic tweaks, maybe limited time events. The official "we update regularly" message remains, but is not strongly backed by visible content drops. 3. Many players have lost faith in the new bot promise. They expect that new bots will likely just be old ones repackaged. For structural constraints, game rules on what bots can be, make radical new bot designs harder, which likely pushes devs toward recycling existing assets instead of designing from scratch. 5. That said, WRB remains playable, and there is a baseline of bots plus upgrades plus nostalgia that keeps at least some fans engaged. For some, recolors or URF bots are fine, but for a vocal minority, that's not enough anymore. So, yes, technically, more bots could still be brought in. But based on what I see, it seems very unlikely that WRB will get a wave of original, fresh URF-style bots anytime soon. Why devs might keep doing this economics, effort, licensing. Why has WRB stagnated in terms of bot roster growth? Several likely reasons. Economic incentive. For the developers, it's cheaper and faster to reuse URF bots or recolor existing models than to engineer, animate, and balance brand new ones. Risk versus reward. Creating new bots from scratch takes time and resources, and if the active player base is small or shrinking, the return may not justify the investment. Licensing or rights issues. As some community members speculate, perhaps the original license, film-based, is weaker now, or there are concerns about rights. Some Reddit users say they believe the devs lost the real Steel license. Diminishing returns. After a certain number of bots, each new one may add less excitement, especially if the community perceives them as more of the same. From a business perspective, if the majority of active players don't care about fully new designs but are okay with recolors, then devs might choose the easier path. What would it take for WRB to truly renew, and is that realistic? If I were advising Reliance Games, or designing a WRB 3.0 roadmap, here are what I'd say needs to happen to breathe genuine new life into WRB. Design and release a fresh bot pack, a batch of 5 to 10 brand new bots, new models, not recycled, with unique moves and abilities, possibly even new bot archetypes. Transparency and communication. Let players know the timeline, show previews, involve the community, polls, suggestions, to rebuild trust. Balance and fairness. Ensure bots are balanced, reduce pay-to-win pressure, give fair paths for free-to-play users. Gameplay innovation, new modes, maybe tag team fights, custom bot builder, better graphics/animations, things to make the game feel updated, not ancient. License/rights clarity. If licensing is an issue, as some suspect, make clear what's possible. If not, reassert that WRB is alive and evolving. But realistically? Given that it's been many years without such a push, and given community voices claiming the devs stopped caring, I think the chances are low that WRB will get such a big push. It's more likely the game will continue to exist in a sort of maintenance mode, minimal updates, occasional cosmetics/new color bots, maybe minor events, but no big new bot revolution. What this means for players, a call to community awareness. For fans of WRB and robot boxing, this likely means: if you want new content, don't hold your breath waiting, but voice your feedback. If enough players request real new bots, maybe the devs could be persuaded. If you still enjoy WRB for what it is in nostalgia, old fights, simple fun, accept it for what it is. Not every game lasts forever, some plateau. If you're disappointed, maybe explore other games in the genre, or broader robot fighting games. There are other alternatives out there. If you still hope for a renaissance, help build community interest, talk with other players, share what you'd like to see, maybe even support fan-made suggestions or mods, where allowed. My conclusion: hopeful realism. In closing, I believe that WRB, while once a lively, evolving game, has mostly plateaued. The import from URF strategy helped build a large roster quickly, but that advantage seems to have been exhausted. As of now, I see no compelling evidence that WRB is getting regular or any genuinely new bots. The updates that continue seem geared more toward maintenance, bug fixes, or cosmetic changes. The devs' promise of "we try to update regularly" feels more like a standard boilerplate than a sign of active content creation. That said, I don't think WRB is dead. Not yet. There remains a base of fans who enjoy the game, and as long as the servers are up, some updates come through, and people still play, WRB lives on in a modest form. If I had to give advice to fans, I'd say, enjoy WRB for what it is, while it still works, but don't expect a golden age comeback. If you want freshness and new bots, perhaps looking toward new titles or indie robot fighting games is the way forward. Thank you.